Wow. Cheers and welcome to From On the Barcast, the podcast for bartending, service industry, drinking in general. Welcome back this week. Hey, we got Sunset Kelly on the ones and twos.
Yes.
And I'm Paxton Eugene. Thank you again for listening this week, the last week of March.
Yeah.
Later on, we'll talk about the state of the show. But first, thank you to Ty Bean Art and Coffee Bar for sponsoring us. And thanks for stopping by, San Diego. You're familiar with bubbles. I mean, we're drinking Coors Light Stubby
the banquet beer.
There's bubbles in here.
Yes, there are.
There's many kinds of bubbles.
Yeah.
Many.
Yeah.
I experienced one of those kinds of bubbles the other night. A bad vibe bubble.
Okay.
Now, a bad vibe bubble is when you're me and you work at a bar at the outside, looking over a deck, and there's probably like 8 seats right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a little nipple out on the side, and there's about 5 more seats out there. Yeah. The bad vibe bubble, the force field, is when I first get to work sometimes, the daytime will kind of clear out, and then the whole midsection of the bar, like right in the center, is open.
Okay.
So typically, if you have 3 or 4 people, they're going to fall somewhere they're either going to be very wide left or right, or they're going to fall in the center.
Okay.
But regardless, it's such a small bar that they create, if there are bad vibes going on, they create the bad vibe bubble. So I had 2 separate groups of these just high-level bad vibe customers. The first group was people I know, sort of, that were visiting, or some of them were visiting, some of them lived here.
Okay.
They don't have bad vibes in terms of, I still like them right now.
Okay.
I still like them right now.
Yeah.
But as in the vibe we want to create at work that make people want to be able to come up and get drinks from me where I can exchange money for it and then be paid.
Exchange of goods and services.
Yes. Earning a living.
Yeah. It's a thing.
So this group of 4 are having a really good time, but they're having kind of such a good time that no one wants to even get close to the bubble because they're almost having such an aggressively good time.
Yeah.
A non-inclusive good time.
Like laughing too loud or just
they're bubbled.
Boisterous?
It's a bit boisterous and bubbled up. And if anyone were to try and slide in or do anything, they'd be like, excuse. Either they wouldn't pay attention to the people that were trying to come up and get something, or they would completely dismiss them and possibly knock something out of their hand with their boisterous movements, their exultations.
Yeah.
So it's kind of going that way. And what I do is I'll look over them, and I'll keep my head on a swivel and see if anyone's gonna approach, and I'll be like, head signal this way, left at Albuquerque, and I got you over here. Okay, don't worry about them. That's going on. It's kind of affecting my business. But then there's 2 things I'm very afraid of at work. One, someone sticking their phone in my face.
What, to show you something?
Yeah, I'm at work, man.
GIF
Yeah, exactly. Here's a meme. Here's a video with sound. Bro, come on, man.
Yeah.
A video with sound.
Yeah. Right now.
That's longer than 8 seconds.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why the phone thing really gets to me a little bit later after the 10 minutes.
Okay. So you cuss?
Yeah. Well, it's gnarly.
Yeah.
So I don't like a phone coming into my face, and I don't like to see a Bluetooth speaker
At a bar?
appear out of nowhere from a purse. It gets sat on the bar.
Oh boy.
they start playing a song. And I've never heard it before. But they were only going to play songs with the word fancy in them, apparently.
Okay.
So there's some effing country song. And I think it's called Fancy Like. And it's like, we go to Applebee's, we got big tits and dirt roads and big shits.
And this is while Poos has his own background music playing.
It's 100% Battle of the Bands.
Oh, boy.
Battle of the Huckapoo speakers versus this little speaker. But the Huckapoo, or the little Bluetooth speaker, does have some performance-enhancing drugs, which are 4 people singing along to this thing. So now it's karaoke, but like non-friendly karaoke. I fancy like eating grits and taking shits. You know, it's bad. But the thing is, the vibe they're creating, they could have been playing Mozart.
Yeah,
it still wouldn't have been
right.
You know, they could have all been like a chorus of and it still would have been upsetting.
I mean, bringing your own speaker to a bar, or the social etiquette of that, I can't wrap my head around that.
No,
you know, I would never dream of doing that. And like being in the breezy occasionally, I mean, I've got what's on the radio playing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll bring my own speaker along just to kind of move the night along because I want to listen to my own stuff. Because sometimes the radio stations, as good as they are around here, just don't pay off. You're just getting every wrong song that night, usually on Saturdays.
And while people are in the van, you probably have songs, and then when you're riding along, there's just commercials, and you're like, well, you catch a bad night like that.
And I've told you about my Steely Dan kind of outlook, like this will placate the masses, that kind of thing. But occasionally someone gets in there with their phone, with their dinky little phone speaker. And I'm not trying to drown them out, but they're listening to their own soundtrack. So I try to I usually turn down the car stereo.
Just turn it off, yeah.
It is, it's their ride. They can listen to whatever the hell they want to. Or whether it's a like infomercial about something, whatever the hell it is, but they're trying to crank it up on this dinky little speaker, and they're like, you can just, and they don't even tell me to like turn down the car because like, do you mind if I just play my own music? Because we don't have Bluetooth.
Are they holding it towards their heads or something?
No, it's just right there for all of us. And
what a gift!
Yeah, and they're having a sing along in the car, that kind of thing. I'm not part of it. I don't want to be a part of it, but they that dinky little sound on your phone, and it's like their own little soundtrack, and that's fine. But if you go to a bar and you try to replace the ambient music, which I think Poos does a pretty good job of placating the masses.
It's either the iPod or the Spotify premium account. You're not hearing bullshit. Right. Everyone can kind of, you can choose your own, not every customer, obviously.
Yeah.
But typically whoever's working, they have a pretty good middle ground of like what's acceptable for certain times of the night. And certain genres that are like, that won't get too annoying for too long, And you can tell who's working by the music that's playing up there.
Yeah, fair enough.
But to try and have that battle of the bands with your little speaker, I'm surprised that more people don't ask you. Now, they don't ask me this because I work outside, but maybe they get it more inside. But I'm surprised they don't ask you for Bluetooth or an auxiliary cable in your thing.
They do.
And it's like, this is a 2-minute ride.
Yeah, it's that, but like in the bus, Ron kind of curates a certain kind of liveliness. Right. He plays like Kid Rock or whatever.
Lil Jon Get Low.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing. Stuff I wouldn't normally play on my own, but that's the party bus, that kind of thing.
Right.
But I try, if I'm bringing my own speaker, it's not because I'm trying to like, well, you're going to listen to what I want to listen to.
Yeah.
But I get asked all the time. But we're Breezy's kind of analog, always has been. We don't have Bluetooth, maybe a patch cable.
Right.
But most phones don't even have a patch.
Not anymore. You got to have 9.
Yeah. So you pretty much get what the radio delivers. Yeah. Or, like I said, if I bring my own little speaker, then I can kind of get, all right, they're going to want something a little more than just Steely Dan.
Do you ever get asked to plug the phone in?
Sure, yeah.
I'm talking about for power.
Yeah, but our Breezy phone, I have an iPhone, and the Breezy phone's not an iPhone.
Yeah.
So it seems like 9 out of 10 people have an iPhone.
Here's the thing, man. This has been happening way more often now. People always ask to charge their phone. Mm-hmm. I will let you if you bring your own.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'll find a place to plug it in.
Yeah. Mine.
But people are like, you've got a charger back there. I'm like, actually, I mean, sometimes I do, but it's not mine. Yeah. Sometimes people leave their shit there, whatever.
Yeah, of course.
But the answer is always no unless you bring your own, because it gets so much worse now because people are like, are you kidding me? Like, it's a right that I, number one, be beholden for their dumbasses wanting to be like, can I see my phone again? No. I'm going to get it to 15%.
Yeah.
And give it back to you. And then with the transaction over.
I mean, it's kind of like letting your car run almost empty on gas, you should have gas in your car. But my mom taught me this lesson. She's just like, there's no reason for your car to be below half a tank.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And with phones, it's kind of like the same thing. Like, I can understand being at a festival and being away from a legit charging power source for, days. So that,
or being lost in the woods.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But I always try to make sure my phone's relatively fully charged. I don't think I've ever asked anybody for a cord.
The reason they need it charged all the time is because they're staring at the goddamn thing all the time.
Yeah.
But this little douchebag kid the other night was just like, dude, you don't understand. It's on 9%. Like, what the literally, what does that have to do with me at all?
Right.
Number one, I do not, like, literally, legitimately, I don't have a charger for you right now.
Yeah.
Number two, if I did, you especially, you think ask me the third? Oh, you asked me 3 times, now I'll plug it in.
Yeah, and getting back to your point about the short ride that Breezy is, even if I did, you might get 1 or 2% if it's like a fast speed charging type, charge whatever. But
and that's if I can find the cigarette lighter to plug it into or whatever.
Right. Yeah, but you're not going to get a lot more juice, unless you're trying to make that critical call to find somebody. But
if you need to call 911, we'll plug it in.
Yeah. Absolutely, but I don't carry a variety.
If mom
of chargers.
is lost, she went on an affair with a man at the beach, and you're trying to get her back to the Airbnb.
But I've gotten that blowback. Like, how can you not have an iPhone charger?
Like, it's a right.
Yeah,
it is incumbent on us to make sure that you staring at your phone all day has no consequences.
Yeah, I mean, and it falls in line with reminding them also, like, we're Breezy. We don't give a shit. We don't care.
I mean, literally, the old slogan was "Go Breezy or go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
But really, the updated slogan is like, "We're Breezy. We don't give a shit."
Yeah, it's not my problem.
We're doing
your dying phones.
You're going above the bare minimum. Yeah. You know what I mean? As a business, you're getting people safely to where they need to go at a low cost with relatively no hiccups.
Yeah, usually
they can curate the ride that they want. We can talk. We cannot talk. Whatever. But come on, guys, we don't give a shit. Yeah. So we're having this battle of the Bluetooth speaker. And the second song comes on. It's "Fancy" by Mrs. Reba McEntire. Right? Is that Reba McEntire?
I couldn't tell
Here's
you.
one chance, fancy, don't let me down. Here's one chance, fancy, come eat my brown.
That's Reba.
Yeah. Which is a fine song. In spurts, not battling with Creed over our radio with 4 people trying to sing it. And one of the gentlemen in the group goes, "Honey, we got to do something here."
Yeah.
He goes, "Number one, you guys are having fun. I took some video of you. We got that, But we're battling with these speakers out here." And luckily, right after that, like a Michael Jackson song came on or something that fiddled these ladies' beans enough to where they turned it off.
Yeah.
Because I was just being completely absent. I was just staying in the back, trying to stay away from it. The bad vibe bubble,
Yeah.
And not a person came on and was like, "Well, let's all sing together." Everyone was like, "We'll just go inside." I'm sitting out there starving, eating ramen, like they finally go. They had been there for a long time, apparently. Bad vibe bubble number 2, where a guy that says, "Hey," every 10 seconds, and 2 women who, each person who walks up, they turn and go, "How are you doing? Do you need something? I'll tell them what you need. I'll get them for you."
Yeah.
"Where are you from?" "I'm from Alabama." "You ain't a Trump supporter, are you?"
Oh, boy.
Like, that's a weird opening. And now listen though, a lot of negative, but one positive came from this. Okay. From this the second bad vibe bubble. Which you'll know who these people are. I mean, I know you know who these people are. It's not important who they are to our listeners.
Yeah.
But you all know this type of person. It's the, "Hey, he'll get you. Hey, Paxton, don't you see this guy's over here waiting on this?"
Yeah.
"Hey, oh, you sound like you're from the North. X question."
Yeah.
Like anything just to be dissident and stank.
Yeah, or the
a dividing line somehow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question that there's no right answer to.
Well, that, and then also just like they're dialed in with you enough where it's like, "Oh, I got you. I got Pax's attention, and I can be divisive with my personal point of views in the meantime as well."
Don't worry, man. This guy working here loves me also.
Yeah.
You better not be XYZ.
Yeah.
So that's super fun. So this guy comes up and he goes, well, hey, ladies, look, I'm from Alabama, but we got to, politics. He's like, I voted for, like he's trying to just be like nice. He's like, hey, how about this? Let's not talk about that. I'll buy y'all some shots.
Right. The elixir.
So he buys him some shots. Now he's starting to annoy me because he's like, well, hold on, get one for him over there. I come back. Hold on. So we're up to $53.
Oh.
Because I'm like, all right, that'll be 38. I started at 38. If you can imagine how this went. All right, now it's 44. Okay. All right, for 52. 58. All right, whatever.
58 at Huckapoo's is some serious work. If it's one person anyway.
So he gives me 100 and I don't have the change for it right then. So I have to go inside to go get the change. And when I come back out, he has ran away. I see him at whatever they said to him while I was gone, got me a $47 tip. I was like, sort of thanks, I wish that guy would have still been around. I probably, he would have been cooler than you.
Put a price on leaving. And like, you know what?
He was like, $47, you got off easy.
Yeah.
Bronx Tale.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, thank you. But then, so that lasted for quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
But the bad vibe bubble, like there's just people. It's almost like someone's constant. Like if you walk over near where someone farted, there's like a circumference of area around that place where you're just like, I don't want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the breezy, I'm not saying I've got it locked down where I know when the door opens exactly what to expect, because I've learned over time you get fooled by that. But, even like this week, especially with St. Patrick's Day and the spring breakers and all that, it's kind of a primer for the summer. It's a reminder that I'm not that it's all complete jackassery.
Sure.
But it's a kind of a different ilk during our busy season.
Right.
The sense of entitlement that goes along with things, or they just don't seem to get it. Whether they were recommended, and what I mean by that is like whether they're recommended breezy because they can't get an Uber from one end of the island to the other, that kind of thing. So they're not quite sure what it breezy is. Yeah, and what we tolerate, what we won't tolerate, and we tolerate a lot.
Yeah,
I
think you do.
On the driver, I think as a whole, we all tolerate about the same 80, 90, 95% of shit.
I think you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think overall
But that's like, and I said this in the past. There are some nights it's just I don't even care about getting paid. I just want this out of the car.
Exactly.
I want you out of the way. I don't want to. I've told you 3 times on the way where we're picking you up to where we're dropping you off. It's cash. Blah blah blah. The rules haven't changed, and they just didn't get it, didn't listen, didn't care. And by that point, it's just easier to get them out. I just want to get this thing out of the way
and be done.
Yeah, and be done with it. And I'm hoping that's just the one ride.
Exactly. Eating that $10 is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just be them done.
Yeah. I mean, last night was one of those moments. Picked them up from Huckapoo's, and they were going down towards the south end. And I told them what was up. And I'd actually had them in the car earlier, and it was, one of them was completely spun going to Poo's. And by the time I got them out of there, she pretty much passed out in the front seat. But the guys, like, I get there and we pull up to a house on the south end. I won't say exactly where, but they get out, the girl's in the front seat, and they're all trying to, they're still trying to figure things out. And I'm like, hey, can you just get this passed out girl out of the car so I can move on with my night? And then it's a house party, so people are trying to get in that I'm not there for because I've got other rides because I'm doing it by myself. I'm in the weeds. Yeah. So I tried to be polite, then I had to be rude.
Yeah.
I was just like, can you just get this drunk person out of my fucking car so I can get on with my job? And they didn't even remembered it that they had to pay. I didn't even bring up, any other options. I just wanted them out. But in the meantime, these other people are like getting in. Well, there's a breezy here, man. We can just pile in. I'm like, no, you can't. I've got other rides to get to. And then I start getting lit from kids. And I'm not saying all kids are rude, but well, the Uber's here. I'm like, I'm not an Uber. You didn't call. This is not your ride. Well, you got an empty van. I don't care.
It doesn't matter. You have an empty head. I'm not giving comments on that.
Yeah. But was it a teachable moment? I don't know. But it was enough to kind of remind me, even if you let them know the rules and how breezy works and this and that, they just either don't care or just don't get it.
Well, I was gonna mention it a little bit later, but this is a good segue to it because, like you said, this time of year is a primer for us in our industries to what it's going to be like during the higher season. I mean, we're starting to pick up. Obviously, it's like spring break for college.
Right.
The holiday of St. Patrick's Day just passed. Things are going on. It's the first time we're going to see any of that crowd. Yeah. The past 2 years, I think there's a new college course where they teach young people, college-aged people, kind of, and the girls mostly, how to act or how to have the best interaction with the people.
Yeah, I mean,
doing service stuff.
The future's not hopeless for these people. I mean, honestly, it's almost kind of like our adult regulars. There are some, it's still the same trope with them, the same crap we deal with every time we pick them up or drop them off, But honestly, most of the kids, college age or not, are pretty respectful. Yeah, I mean, and also at that age where I get a lot of yes sirs. I wish I didn't.
Sure, but
I get a lot of yes
it
sirs.
Is what it is.
Thank you, sir, and all that. Yeah. But every once in a while, you've got call it entitlement or whatever.
But that's what young people, adults, anybody. That's across the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's going to be 10%, at least a minimum 10% jackasses. Yeah. So I had these girls come. All right, I had 2.5, 3 experiences with college age, mostly college age girls with a couple of dudes sprinkled in.
Okay.
Which were very heartening to me. Not because like I need to be treated a certain way. Like I don't care if you get like, hey buddy, I just won't do anything for you.
Right.
Like none of those things matter to me. Not getting absorbently tipped. Yeah, just give me something.
Right.
All those things don't upset me. I don't give a shit really. But like just the state of the world kind of matters to me.
Yeah.
So Thursday day was my first daytime back in a while. And we're relatively busy. And this I'm walking through. Young girl comes up. She goes, hey, we don't want to overwhelm you, but we have 26. What can we do? I was like, we're not going to start moving tables around, because if we put you all together, that's going to be a big mess. And, we all have different sections. So we started to work it out, and they were like, all right, what if we don't have to sit together? They're like, what we're going to do is if we could just get close enough to each other to be sitting in the same vicinity, we'll put each ticket on each table, no matter who's sitting there.
Right.
So we split it into 2 sections, and the girls, all these girls were so helpful in being like, all right, you guys sit over there. That's your table. You guys have 1 ticket on that table.
Yeah.
So I had 2 of the tables, and the other girls had the other tables, which ended up being like 7 tables all at the same time.
Yeah.
Easiest tables all day. 1 to 2 people from the table were of age to drink. You know what I mean? But they weren't passing fucking drinks around.
Right.
And they ordered all at the same time. They said pitchers of water. And I was like, so I was talking to someone about it. And I was like, is there a college course now? Are people just more savvy? Are kids just more savvy? Or have they worked in the service industry? But I could tell none of these people really had.
Yeah.
You can tell a service industry worker, I think.
Yeah, they're a little more savvy, I guess.
Oh, well, just there's a stank to them.
Yeah, fine.
You know when people.
Well, I'll say this, a few years ago, driving Breezy, picking up college kids and all that, and maybe and I've been doing Breezy way longer than I ever thought I would, because it's a good gig and it's easy money, all things considered. But it seemed like 4 or 5 years ago, all these college kids were trying to pay separately. Like I would be like getting a 20 from each of them, but they all wanted change. And there'd be 20 of them on the bus. I'm like, I don't have enough cash to make change for all of you and all that. How about one person, 1 point, collect all the money, do whatever Cash App thing you guys, which was kind of the burgeoning part of it. And Venmo wasn't, and Cash App, all these things wasn't quite where they are now, But it was like, it's not to be exasperated with them, but I just finally told them, like, this is how this works. You're all friends, right? And they're like, yeah. Like, well, how about one person pay? You guys figure it out amongst yourselves instead of having me, be the cashier for every individual.
You'll get out of here a lot faster.
And it seems like the last couple of summers or seasons and all that, even the St. Patrick's Day, perfect example. I was driving in the bus because I needed to out of necessity, and had about 12 kids on there, college age students. Yeah. And one person had the money. And then they're all doing the Venmo amongst themselves. I'll give you 5, 10, and all that. And that wasn't anything I had to bring up, but somewhere along the way, somebody said, because I did that more than a few times a few years ago, but it's less current now, less frequent now, I should say.
Right. Well, think about the advent of the internet, right?
Yeah.
So let's imagine, the internet really becomes like a thing in around 2000, where like, a lot more people had it than didn't, or more people had access to it than they didn't.
Yeah.
So let's imagine you're of the age where you're like let's say you're born in 96 or something like that. I'm sorry, you're having kids around 2004 till now. So they're all about college aged right now, right? Yeah. What I think has happened is a lot of these parents have worked in the service industry and they've already taught their kids through the internet, because, you see much more sketches and skits and, reels and shit online about dealing, bartenders dealing with customers or waiters dealing with shitty customer, whatever. So I think that it like, in some way, the internet has helped.
Yeah.
And the age of kids now, where I think there's a whole generation that works service industry that now doesn't anymore. So these kids aren't ever going to work service industry, probably.
Yeah.
They might end up there, but they're not going through college working service industry. They're going through college with student loans and shit.
Yeah.
But back then, everyone was working service industry from the late 90s to the early 2000s to get through.
It seemed like a rite of passage of sorts. I mean, I wasn't a bartender or a server in college, but I worked at a liquor store. I mean, one of the first jobs I ever had was Wendy's.
Yeah.
You know, so I've never been a bartender. And
but dealing with the public in general.
Yeah. But, I mean, worked at a car wash, all that sort of stuff. But I've always been pretty good. I mean, honestly, when I started driving Breezy, I didn't know if I'd be good at it or not. I mean, I didn't know. You know, I had this, I mean, I used Breezy before to get back and forth around the island and all, but I didn't know the slings and arrows that went along with it.
Of course not.
You know, but again, the first year or two, I wasn't jaded. I wasn't, you know, I was like a Labrador puppy.
Are you on the beach? I'll walk down there and get you.
I'll put up with everything and do anything and go above.
You're on the 14th Street walkover. Which wave is coming in? I'll meet you there.
Yeah. But but here I am years later. I think I navigate it pretty well. It's not for everybody, but you know.
Well, you have a calm demeanor.
I try to.
I mean, well, because it's sort of a rub off. Because some guy asked me, he goes, "How do you deal with all this?" I was like, "Besides autism," I was like, "My calm demeanor." He goes, "Yeah, I can tell."
But I mean, like any job, there's days you don't want to do it, no matter what it is. If it's
and there's people that make you not want to.
Yeah. And last night wasn't a bad night. I mean, I did okay financially. I mean, I would have loved to have stopped earlier the way the last couple hours went.
Sure.
Because I'm not saying it's like the worst case scenarios for, you know, how Breezy can or can't be, but it was just like a waste of time.
Right.
You know, I should have just stopped at 1.
Yeah.
Not even told anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ron would have been on me about it.
Yeah.
Because that kind of thing. And I would have told him why. I'm like, look, just the people that were left out there, just... It was just the prototypical, like, how you view a crappy ending to your night at work.
Sure.
And you stay on for 2 more hours, make a few more bucks, but was it worth your self-esteem and that kind of thing?
Just right. Is it worth your dignity?
Yeah. You know,
your self-preservation.
Just getting poked, you know, by drunk people.
Yeah.
Because they think it's funny.
Yeah, that's like, you're wow, man, original. You're the first to ever do this to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Yeah. That kind of stuff.
Is this the Uber?
Yeah.
I've never heard that. Wow.
Yeah. And then
do you do like open mics, man? Are you?
Well, and I say correct them. I don't mean to but like.
Here's what it is.
Oh, I know you're drunk, but you're not in an Uber. And also the way we get paid is different than an Uber as you're walking away, that kind of stuff. But when they think it's a joke, then, oh, I'm sorry. Boober, what'd you say? What's this again? The total Beavis and Butthead thing. And as an adult, I shouldn't be.
Hey, Braden, wasn't that funny?
Yeah, but now they're doing it intentionally to poke at you.
Yeah.
Like, I've told you this is a breeze. You're not an Uber.
Yeah. I mean, there's a thing that, like, if I'm not a stranger necessarily, but if a person's being a douchebag to me and I figure out something that they don't like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But if it's my driver and they're not doing anything that makes me,
you called us. You know. Or you took the tip from a bartender or a server who let you know, like, there's a better way to get around Tabby.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah. There's a better way to get around Tabby. Breezy rider.
But I'm here to get you from A to B safely, and I've said this numerous times on the show. But every once in a while, you get these, you know, it's not just men or girls. You know, it's like a combination sometimes.
Sure.
And now they're just like giggling and snickering in the back, like in the back of the classroom, making fun of the teacher or something. Yeah. And I'm like, wasn't trying to correct you or say you're a shitty person. I'm just telling you, you're not in an Uber. You're in a Breezy.
Yeah, and it's not paid for already, like Ubers are. Already,
yeah. But then next thing you know, this is a boober. What's this again?
Oh, Braden, you're hilarious.
Yeah.
Jaden and Braden, they're like just hilarious guys.
Yeah, and I tell them my name, and then they get it wrong, and then the next of the thing, they just keep calling me by this other name. And
you're like Jerry on Parks and Rec.
I guess, yeah. You know, I tell them it's Kelly. Was it Kellen? Killer? When they're like, no, whatever. Just
Kelly. Oh, Kelly. Yeah, Kelly, my Kelly.
Just pay me.
So then I had a group mixture, male, female. So the first group, all the girls, the 26 girls or whatever, at all the separate tables that all had tickets on one ticket per table. That was all girls. Saturday night, I had 3 and 3 guys, 3 girls. They walked in. They found a place to get set up, kind of, which wasn't at a table. Started looking around and seeing some of the servers passing by. And I guess because they thought They weren't at a table, but they thought maybe the servers would serve them where they were.
Okay.
I noticed them because they were at the nipple of my bar at the outhouse, you know?
Yeah.
And it was slow enough where I could walk around and not do the lean over. Because a lot of times if people are that far away, for me to get up and walk around, there's like 900 people there that I'm like nut to butt with.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a hassle.
Yeah, I know.
And people are like, oh, you can't walk around. I'm like, kind of not. Why don't you do it once and get groped like you're crowd surfing at a fucking Metallica concert and tell me if you like that. So I walked over there and they're like, hey, what's up? Are you our guy? I was like, yeah, I'm your guy. They go, cool, man. Here's fucking ID sitting on the thing. I want this, I want that. And they gave me a $20 bill to start off with. They're like, dude, thank you so much. And they were all Indiana and 24 years old, something like that. Not saying you got to pay me up front, tip me up front or anything like that.
Right.
So I was like, man, maybe they felt neglected because of how they look. They're young, and the servers weren't getting to them. So they're like, oh shit, this guy came over. We should immediately reward him in some way because we're not typically used to being treated like this. So they're cool. They all pay and tip appropriately. Right at the end of my night last night, 6 girls come in, all college age. My bar's kind of empty. They walked up 2 by 2 behind each other in lines. We would like this, IDs ready and all that shit. Got them mostly closed out. They go and sit at a table. My bar clears out completely. It's like 11 now. So I'm pretty much dead. Only 2 of them had open tabs. So I walked over. I was like, hey, guys, the inside's going to be open. Thank you guys so much. I can close you out, but I don't have to. I can just move your tabs inside, because this is inconvenient for you. Like you got here like 15, 20 minutes ago.
Right. Yeah.
And, I'm trying to find that window where I can shut that door.
Yeah.
Because like having one other person keep me there for another hour for $2.
Yeah, I get that.
It's just, yeah. I mean, my
it's the breezy mentality. It's 1:30. The only people that could possibly need a ride live within walking distance of where they're at. The weather's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like,
like leaving a lot of money on the table or anything.
I mean, if it's like, somebody needs to go off island or whatever, it's a little bigger, bigger price for that and all that. So it's worth waiting on that. But there are moments where I'm not hanging on another 2 hours for $5.
Right. And it's not even just the $5 thing. It's just like hanging on just to have one ride.
Yeah.
Just for one thing, for one kind of not irresponsible person, but just why?
Well, and last night was one of those weird nights because I usually do Sundays by myself, and unless it's like a holiday or something like that. But it was just busy enough to make me think that it wasn't busy. Like I'd make it from Huckaboo's all the way back to the south end, almost to my apartment, almost get out of the car, and then the phone would ring. I'd have to go right back to Huckaboo's. It just never. I mean, it was almost comical. Like,
yeah.
I mean, and it wasn't like there was a lot of people out last night, but people were just moving constantly.
Yeah.
And it was just annoying enough where I don't want to sit in the car for 10 hours because I like sitting in my apartment if I'm not busy.
Yeah, sure.
But the calls weren't close enough together, So just when I'm thinking it's going to be slow, and I was like, I'll stop at 2, but the phone just kind of kept going and going.
And you know how to get a call. Just pull up to your house or try and do anything else.
Yeah, any sort of thing.
That's how you get a call.
Yeah. But as much as I wanted to stop at 2, because I thought it was going to be that kind of night. And like I said earlier, I wish I just stopped at 1 because financially it didn't move the needle off me saying it till 3.
Right. Yeah.
I might have made another $15 because the other rides that I had in the meantime were busts. They just either one, I just didn't want to deal with them.
Yeah.
Their personality or just,
yeah.
You're staying on the south end, stop calling me.
Right. Yeah. You're close enough.
We want to go back to Huckapoo.
There's not a monsoon.
You're not going back to Huckapoo.
Yeah. You're not. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm not bleeding you onto them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I closed it. So they were like, no, we'll close out with you and then we'll start getting stuff from the inside bar. I was like, cool. Thanks, guys. So I'm back there cashing the last 2 girls out. And I look over and I'm like, there's a quarter of a bottle of well vodka. I'm going to make up 6 white teas.
Nice.
Small cups, like the tiniest gesture.
Yeah.
The tiniest gesture. I wanted to do a shot anyways. So I made my bullet, put them all on a little tray, walked over. They go, wait a minute, who ordered shots? I was like, no one. They go, what do you mean? I was like, well, you guys have been really nice. So I just want to give you a shot. It was as if Joseph Smith and Jesus all came at the same time. They're like, are you sure, mister?
Yeah.
Because And but in no way was it like a flirtatious thing.
And you weren't roofing them.
Right, yeah. And it wasn't like, oh, thanks, person. What are you doing? They're like, are you sure, mister?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man. Look, I didn't like say this to them, but the reason I did was like, I kind of wanted to reward just general, not politeness, but general
good patronage.
Good patronage.
Yeah. This is how you handle yourself.
Look what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were like, because they were so scared that, no, they didn't seem broke or anything like that. And they weren't nitpicking. They weren't asking me how much things were,
right, or
like who's going to pay for what. Yeah. So I don't think they were necessarily scared, like, who ordered these shots?
Yeah.
Who's paying for them?
Which creep ordered these shots?
Right. Yeah. This creep, me.
Well,
yeah.
Or some random creep.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I was like, no, man, like you guys were really nice. They're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was like they had never been treated like that before.
And maybe they hadn't, and that's what was remarkable about it.
That's the really remarkable thing about the kids before that. And I call them kids. They were probably like 24 or whatever.
They're all kids. They're my age.
But the group of 3 guys and 3 girls that thought they were being neglected and thought they had to reward me right away for getting over to them.
Oh.
Maybe, and it's not untrue. I mean, it's a true thing. I've been profiling people for the last 15 years. In whatever way, I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But now my profile has changed a little bit on the 21 to 26-year-olds.
Yeah.
Now, not the dudes in the short shorts and the colored polos. That's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And another way, yeah, and it's like, and now I don't mind. I'd rather be, hey, mister, than, hey, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just not going to answer to that, but.
I don't want to say I've been proven wrong a lot because I think I'm along, with you on this where I'm usually right, in my feelings, my initial reaction, but I don't get it right all the time. No, right, and I'm not mad at myself like I got fooled, but it's refreshing when you think you pigeonholed every sort of person because of their age
every
or
group,
whatever.
Yeah.
There's the ones who are the exception to the rule. And you're like, all right, maybe we're not as bad off as we thought, and they do get it. Or whoever recommended Breezy to them explained it
right
from A to Z about how Breezy works.
Here's what it's going to be.
It's this, and this.
It can make it good. You can make it good. You can make it bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of up to you.
This is how you reciprocate.
Yeah.
That kind of thing and all that. So if you
be ready when they get there and they'll drop you off promptly.
Absolutely. And you can bring your drink in the car. We're not going to stop your good time, that kind of stuff. And so just when I think I just roll my eyes at the steps at Pooh's, I'm like, oh boy. And then the door opens and it's like this a refreshing breeze instead of being crop dusted. Right? Yeah. Like, oh, okay, you guys get it.
Oh, hello. They file in one at a time.
Yeah, they know how to close the door in the van because they've been in a minivan before. It's not a trick,
It doesn't do it itself.
Yeah, and they're just so grateful for the ride, almost to a point where it's kind of zealot. It's like, all right, it's just a ride. Take it easy.
Hey, I'm not your hero. Okay?
Yeah, I'm just a simple cab driver. Just take it easy. I'm good. A little too flourishy here.
Yeah,
but no, I mean when kids, younger adults, someone somewhere before you and I probably called them out, or they just had good parenting,
or they're just good. Yeah,
it's one thing to drink at the house, that thing with me and your uncle or your aunt and all that, but when you go out in public, you gotta kind of
here's the stature we need to uphold.
Hold yourself accountable a certain way and comport yourself a certain way,
and you'll have a lot better time if you do that. It's a lot easier for everyone.
Dude, you might get some shots from a bartender who appreciates you not being a jackass.
Literally, it's such a low bar.
Yeah,
you get free shots for just saying thank you.
Yeah,
sort of kind of thing.
And I don't mean to flatter myself because I put a lot of seat time in at a lot of places over the years.
Yeah,
but I don't make a jackass out of myself.
Right.
I've never been kicked out of a bar. I've never been dragged out of a bar.
It's kind of, man, and that's not. Yeah, that's not.
I mean, and maybe it's personality, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I usually know when enough's enough for me. That kind of thing. But I've never been.
Man, but we just didn't learn it at bars. I don't think we learned it at house parties.
Yeah.
I think what your limit is, or where your jackassery goes, or
I don't like the spins, man. I don't want to get so drunk I puke.
And I don't like people being like, "Wow, what was up the other night?"
Well, a lot of times, the thing that I've always kind of leaned on, even since the early days before I became a professional drinker and all that, was like, I'm not drunk, I'm just drinking.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, I am drunk, but
it's a
I'm
thing.
Not blackout drunk.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's drunk and then there's drinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just drinking.
Yeah. I mean, I played catch up at house parties because I had to work and got there late. So probably overkicked my coverage.
Right.
And like, all right, maybe I shouldn't have done 6 shots of tequila right when I walked in the door.
Right. But
that kind of moved the needle a little bit the wrong way. But most of the time, if we're just
you've learned
hanging
now.
out, yeah. But when I see, I'm not saying people, it's your own thing. How you drink and how you handle yourself when you're drinking is what it is. But I try not to call people out on it. Like you're embarrassing yourself. You're whatever. Yeah. Because 2 nights, especially on Tabby, 2 nights later, no one cares.
No one cares, and a lot of those people are gone anyways.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of life lessons and things that really stick with you are learned at young people's house parties.
Yeah.
Like I definitely knew what mixtures could go into my body that would affect me adversely. But when we were growing up, I think it was before like the Jackass era, which everyone, and you said it earlier off mic, everyone at a certain age has a group of friends where it's like, it's fun to be destructive, self-destructive or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe not to the Jackass standards, but I think now with the internet, the opposite side of the internet is to impress your little buddies.
Yeah.
While you're drinking at a house party, you got to do some
something stupid,
something exceptionally stupid, or
irresponsible,
is non-self-preserving. You got to up it a lot more now, because now lore doesn't exist unless it's on video,
right?
Like back in the day, like, oh, he's a legend, he did a kickstand for 46 seconds. We counted,
and the legend would grow, by each time.
It was 64 seconds by the time, a month later, but so. And things you learn young, almost become muscle memory to you. Like, how dumb kids, and they used to do it. And I've seen people of an age do this, but you're sitting there with your beer bottle. Uh-huh. Here comes Braden, badonk, on the top to foam it up.
Oh, this way. There. Cameras.
We're drunk.
No, dude, they whack your bottle, and then the phone comes out, and everybody has a good laugh. Maybe knock it out of your hand. Ha, 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 funny.
Braden is hilarious when he does that. Yeah. Super fun. And then you have foamy beer. And right.
That's why I always cut my pinky.
All right, so you put me on this, and now I'll never be able to not look. But you have.
It's automatic.
You put your pinky underneath the bottle. Now, I was thinking when you were going to say a finger that you had a thumb on top, but pinky underneath. Yeah. So that it absorbs the shock.
That, or I just can't have the beer knocked out of my hand anymore.
And when's the last time someone did a top dunk beer to you?
Not as far back as you might think, honestly.
Really?
I mean, it's been years, probably pre-COVID, but not decades.
Really?
There are still people who just think it's funny.
I
don't think it's funny.
Obviously
knocking
hilarious.
a perfectly good beer out of my hand is not funny. Knocking anything out of my hand.
A succulent Chinese meal out of my hand.
But back in my Jackass days with my crew of friends and all that was kind of a thing. And over time, I don't remember being approached it from anybody saying, "Man, just slide your pinky underneath it." It's just something I've always done. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like when or denting a beer can so I get better airflow when I'm drinking beer out of a can.
Denting it?
Yeah, like right there at the mouthpiece.
Do you take both thumbs and press in?
Yeah.
Does it break it?
I don't know. It was like the swirl top bottles that was it Miller Lite had or
Miller Lite had the vortex bottle. Yeah. Drink the beer faster.
Yeah, somewhere along the way somebody told me put a dent in it, makes the air it flow in less. I don't know. But it's also a good thing to know that it's your beer when there's multiple Bud Lights or Miller Lights or Coors Lights sitting out.
If there's a million cans of High Life at a house party,
mine's got the little dent.
Yours has the little dent for the extra airflow.
Yeah,
studies have shown. Now is that just so the beer? Why don't you just get the wide mouth?
I don't like the wide mouths. I don't like the aluminum cans in general. I mean, I know they're all aluminum cans.
Well, the aluminum bottle,
the aluminum bottles, because the bottle's colder than the actual liquid itself. That's how I think it is.
I think I agree with you because when I hold, which is rare, but certain like outside bars, where glass is illegal, rightfully so.
Yeah,
I'll get that Budweiser aluminum can, and it is frosty on the outside, but you take a sip of it, and I don't think it matches.
Yeah, no, I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't.
What is the science? What is the non-science? Do we have to do an experiment?
Well, you have a screw top, and you can save your beer a little bit longer now, and maybe it doesn't go.
No, but
I don't know. But it's
the illusion of the can being cold. So you're like, the beer obviously must be cold.
Yeah.
It works on me though.
It's weird because, a normal beer can is what it is, but you get those aluminum bottles and there's just something about the delivery.
It feels colder.
Yeah. But the liquid doesn't. and you go to a sporting event or whatever, that's usually what they have. They don't give you glass anymore.
Yeah.
They go kill somebody from an upper deck, throw it down, that kind of thing. But, it's just that one thing. And you could be on the beach, cooler full of ice. It's cold.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I might be crazy. I probably am. But to me, it just seems like the liquid's not as cold as the damn outside.
It sounds like the flat earth theory of cans of aluminum beer.
But yeah, I don't dent the aluminum bottle cans, but if it's a traditional beer can, I put a little dent in there. It's supposed to let less, I don't know.
More oxygen in so that the beer flows out more.
Yeah, it's not as bubbly in your belly.
That would help. Yeah, because I'm not a big beer drinker, really.
Yeah.
Not enough. I mean, the state of the union of my liver, the beers I would have to drink to get to my level of how drunk I want to be if I'm doing anything like working or playing a gig.
It would take a lot of beer, and I don't mean that in a proud way, but it would take a lot of beer, and I would have to drink it fast. But then I'd be peeing every 20 minutes. For the rest
I already
of the
have
night.
a child's bladder anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, I drink 3 beers, 5 beers come out.
Yeah.
Through a cocktail straw.
Yeah, my bladder's not the vice it used to be, and I hate to use like the old man syndrome, but it's like if I go to a show or, I have to be mindful, like I'm not drinking, 5 mega beers at a Mexican restaurant before I go to a concert.
Right.
Because then
you will be in the bathroom the entire time.
Yeah, preoccupied with pissing and not doing fun stuff. I know I just got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, right, yeah. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you going back to the bathroom?
Because I got to pee again.
Okay, yeah. Maybe the third time I go, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But mostly I am peeing.
Yeah, but it takes, I mean, honestly, I can't get a buzz off a 12-pack, but if I'm drinking beer, a 12-pack's a day-long thing for me.
Yeah. Dude, you know what
gave me an hour or so.
What gave me a buzz today, buddy? Let me tell you.
Okay, tell us.
I cat sat for you again.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite things to do. And if you don't think about buying certain groceries or implements for your home, then you just don't buy them. So I'm over there taking care of baby girl. Walk over there, open the cabinet, and there's Swiss Miss.
Oh yeah.
I was like, hot chocolate. I hadn't done that in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Right next to it, popping corn, just the kernels, with the proprietary oil next to it.
Mm-hmm.
So these are 2 things
You can pop in it, and you can put it on a topping as well.
Oh, you got really?
You cook it in, and you can put that buttery slathering.
I mixed butter with everything bagel seasoning.
Well, of course, yeah.
And drizzled it over top. But anyways, getting ahead of myself. So I'm a coffee drinker, typically.
Yeah. Hot
chocolate, that seems like, campfire, or, snowy snowbanks in Wisconsin, whatever.
Kid stuff.
I'm a coffee drinker. I'm a man. Yeah. I drink Thai Bean coffee. Try out Thai Bean Art and Coffee Bar right here on beautiful Tybee Island, Georgia. Well, so I got me my own stash. And when I was at your house, I didn't feel any different when I drank the hot chocolate.
This is hot chocolate.
But today, brother, I did have some coffee before the hot chocolate, but I had one, and it was like, because I don't drink sugar in my coffee.
Did you make it with milk or with water?
Water and half. Okay,
that's a good combo.
So I take, anytime I go to the convenience store, life hack if you like half and half, and they're 10 calories each. So you know how much cream you're ingesting. Yeah. But I don't know if it's stealing or not, but I grab 7 to 10 half and half packets from the convenience store every time I go there.
Yeah.
I've got them lined up in my. So then I'm not having milk, because if I have milk in there, I'm going to drink it all.
Yeah, I mean, the water's fine, but I like it with milk. Makes it a little more creamy.
No, understood. So I did it with like 80% water and like 2 or 3 little tabs of half and half. Well, anyways, it hit me like a jolt, and I do many things. And I was like, hot chocolate?
Yeah.
What?
I don't lean. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't lean into coffee but a little cup of hot cocoa on a cold day. Or sometimes when I'm driving, I'll bring my thermos along, a good insulated one that actually keeps hot stuff hot and cold stuff cold.
Right.
And it's just nice to have it. Like back when it snowed, it was great. It was great to have it.
Yeah.
And But yeah, I like to keep it there as a backup. I'm not going to probably, as the months get warmer, I'm not going to be drinking it in July.
Sure, but there's a time and place.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand coffee. It's like, even in July when it's 104 degrees, you're still pounding hot coffee.
Yeah, well, I mean, I looked past the coffee to buy the Swiss Miss today.
Okay.
But
did you get it with marshmallows?
Yeah, I got it with the marshmallows.
Gotcha.
That was the one that was there anyways, yeah. But it's not going to be a long-term thing, but it's a nice little dip the toes in.
Delicious.
So during the cat sitting, what I do is I catch up on shows or documentaries on services that I don't have here at the house, which is everything besides YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, I've only got Netflix. I get what you're saying.
And HBO, yeah. So back in the day, and this speaks to the state of our world today, I think, and what's right and wrong with it. Maybe I'm getting a little too philosophical.
Let's hear it.
So there's I followed this way back in the day, but it was Gabby Petito. She and her boyfriend, she wanted to start a YouTube channel that was like van life vlogging.
Oh, yeah.
And her douchey little boyfriend was like, he was the tip of the cap nice guy that you thought was a nice guy, but really was just a creep, douchebag, whatever.
Yeah.
So they go out and she's trying to start a channel. He's not really into it, which I get, because when I followed it while it was happening, like while she was still missing, and before they found out that he killed himself and all that stuff. I'm following that shit on YouTube almost every day. I love that shit. I mean, I don't love her dying or anything like that. But during the documentary, it had a little more of like the police body cam footage and a little more of her like outtakes of her trying to record her van life shit. And all right, look, maybe he should have slapped her around a little bit.
No, we're not promoting that, but
no, I'm just saying, like, I was getting annoyed.
Yeah.
Because man, it's like if someone's sticking a phone in your face constantly.
Yeah.
So, isn't it beautiful? It's like, this isn't our real life.
Yeah.
We're not hugging under a waterfall all the time.
Right.
We're fighting. We smell each other's shit.
Yeah.
You know, your feet are on the dash.
We're together way more than we're not.
Yeah.
Which is not healthy for any relationship.
Yeah. Our one leg isn't up in the air.
Yeah.
While it's kissing under a sunset waterfall. You know. Well, anyways, if you know the story, you know the story. Whatever. No spoilers. Everyone's dead. So she shouldn't have died. He shouldn't have killed her. But like, I get like the frustration of it, but I don't think he killed her because she was vlogging or because she started a YouTube channel. I think he was just a douchebag no matter what.
Yeah.
A real knucklehead.
Yeah.
Anyway, so typically at the end of these documentaries, you have these tags at the end where it's like, because she died, they started a foundation for battered women, or the tag is he's doing 20 years in jail, or he was acquitted because there was new information they didn't do. You know what the tag was for the Gabby Petito? This girl's entire life and death. This was the tag at the end. This is what the world has come to. It said she only published one YouTube video. It said before Gabby Petito's death, her single YouTube video had less than 500 views. Now it's over 7 million.
Yeah, that's great because you're dead now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's notoriety, not popularity.
I'm so glad she died for that. I'll bet she is too. You know what? I would be sad, but she got posthumously 7 million views.
Yeah.
Isn't that the most valuable thing in the fucking world?
And
this is Netflix doing. Like, Netflix isn't stupid. I mean, well,
they're a little stupid.
Well,
I'm not going to get off topic.
No, understood. Is that how you tag the end of a documentary about a girl that got murdered, number one, and then fuck the guy, but he killed himself. But
maybe the idea was like it's a cautionary tale that just because you put content out there or kind of try to curate this life for yourself, or this people think your life is, that doesn't always mean you're going to get 1 million views. Sometimes it takes some notoriety to get attention, not the kind of notoriety you want.
Wow.
It's probably, it's like, we do our little podcast. We think it's interesting. We have some people that listen, and I'm flattered by people wanting to listen, even if it's 30 or 40, whatever week it is, that kind of thing. But just because you put shit out there doesn't make it immediately interesting to everybody. Yeah. Especially van life stuff. It's been done. Boat life stuff. It's been done. Reaction videos have been done.
You really got to up the bar on that.
Yeah. So, whether it's controversial or not, you've got to have a fresh take, and it doesn't have to be like slamming your door on an idea or a lifestyle, but you need to bring something new to the table beyond just, I live in my van. And if you got a partner who doesn't want to be a part of that, it ain't going to work.
Right. Yeah.
And unfortunately, it took someone's demise, a death to get the attention. But just because, I'm just saying, like, just because you put shit out there doesn't mean all of a sudden.
Man, they just didn't present. Man, I hope that they're like, here's a cautionary tale. Just because it had.
That's the only reason I can think they'd be put a tagline up like that. Like,
I didn't even think about it like that. I'm so cynical that I looked at it like, how douchey is that? They're like, but now it has over 7 million. Oh my god, OMG.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if I'm right. It's not about being right or wrong.
I'd rather you be right.
But notoriety, it's like the whole old adage, like any publicity is good publicity. Anything that keeps your name in the headlines is something. And whether it's, the tagline on a YouTube video and call it a bait and switch or whatever, the payoff's not at the end, like wait till the end.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But now her getting off for whatever reason, whatever that story is, that's more interesting than her life at that point.
Wow. You've opened my eyes on this.
Well, I don't know if I'm right. Like I said, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but that's how I view it. The notoriety of her getting killed, or it's like any guy that like kills his wife and kids because he doesn't want that life because they're constantly shoving a camera in his face and presenting this, vision of every day is a great day, and we have all these wonderful life affirming signs around.
We love
house.
having 14 kids.
Yeah, or 2, whatever the case may be. But I'm not saying that social media is the bane of the world. I mean, I think there's an absolute use for it, but it doesn't always work out the way you think it's going to. You pick the wrong person to pair up with. Like I said, you being off is more interesting than you not. I don't know. That's just how.
That's where we are. That's the state of the world. Yeah. We got to do a Patreon tonight.
Okay.
It'll be a state of the show because the house and the studio are in jeopardy of not being around. Sorry to tag it like this before the Patreon, but I'm not trying to get you to go over there. If you're on there's plenty of people on Patreon. So, it could be sad news, or it could pick up. We'll know by Thursday. But by the time you're listening to this, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'd rather not die before we get over 500 views for a certain thing. If I do that, let's see. But thank you again for listening this week, and join us on the Patreon if you want to hear the state of the show, and we'll see the rest of you next week. Hopefully.
God willing.